Hello, this is Rico Cavella, and this is your Fearless Aging podcast. And in every episode, my guests and I, we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to help you live a healthier, more energetic, successful, fulfilling, long life and never be old. And we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out in the world and make it a better place. And I think everybody knows we need a lot more positive energy out there and helping create a better world for everybody. So that's what we're here for, help you to be your best self. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to remind you that I have a new free masterclass that I'm giving away. It's all about how to stick with a healthy eating and exercise program. I know a lot of people always try to start a healthy eating and exercise program, but they don't stick with it. So this will help you to show you how you can actually stick with it. And so I'll put that link on the show descriptions as well. So the title of today's episode is really how to get some true, really healthy superfoods, easy way into your diet. And so we have a great guest. She's actually the founder and the creator of these products. Her name is Catherine Arnston. She's an algae wellness expert. And she is the founder and CEO and chief scientific officer of Energy Bits. She's an expert in algae for wellness, nutrition, beauty, biohacking, mitochondria, and longevity. She is nationally recognized thought leader, seasoned corporate executive, experienced entrepreneur, and sought after speaker. And she has an MBA, a BA, and is a board certified health coach. So Catherine Arnston, thanks so much for being here.
Wow, thank you, Rico, for that great introduction. I'm so honored to be here with you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's always fun.
You're the testament to how to not age.
Yeah, well, that's my goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to say, doing these podcasts, Catherine, has just been so amazing. I get to meet such great people like you and just make new friendships and connections, and then also just bring some really great health and wellness, advice and strategy to people. So it's just so much fun. So I'm so happy to meet you and have you be here. So I like to begin. I like to put my guests on the spot and ask you, what are you most passionate about in your life right now?
Well, anybody who knows me knows that my biggest passion is algae. And I fell into algae. I tell people I didn't choose algae, it chose me. It was a serendipitous thing that happened many years ago, but I've been studying algae now for 12 years, and there's at least another 12 years in me. So, and it's so amazing, as I hope you will learn today on today's call, that I was on Shark Tank a few years ago, and Mark Cuban said, we don't think you're in love with being an entrepreneur. You're just in love with algae. And my answer to him was, well, if you knew as much about algae as I did, you'd be in love with algae too. So you're in for a ride, because this stuff will change your life. It will also extend it, improve it, and help you keep it.
Before we get into it, because you already started a little bit about telling how you got into it, but I just want to ask you this because thought popped in my mind. Out here we have in San Diego area, there's a place called the Salton Sea. You're probably familiar with that. And I know they have a big project there. They're growing algae out there as a food source.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, well, algae is a and we'll dive into this in a few minutes, but algae is a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop. First of all, people need to know that it's a food crop. It is not a supplement. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that they're growing it in the ocean, because 99.9% of the algae that is consumed, the chlorella and spirulina are the two algae we're going to talk about today, but 99% of them are harvested as fresh water farms. It's farmed hydroponically. So it's the algae farms that are out there, maybe that's probably seaweed. Algae, that's a macroalgae. We're going to be talking about microalgae, which are spirulina and chlorella are an example of. And you can't see microalgae, because that's why they're called micro, because they're microscopic. Yeah. So what they're growing out there is likely seaweed, which is it's called seaweed because it's only in the sea, and it's very stringy. It's that stuff that washes up on shore, and it has a lot of fiber and iodine in it, but it's actually it doesn't have a lot of nutrients like microalgae does, but we're jumping ahead. I do want to,
Okay.
and, you know, and we
Well,
can jump right into it if you want.
Yeah.
I can tell people later on, you know, how I got in here, because I really want
Okay.
to everyone to understand what algae is. So
Yeah.
so first of all, algae was the first life on Earth almost 4 billion years ago. Predates us by 3.8 billion years. Okay, so before algae, there was just gas and water, and then for whatever reason, we don't know why, algae started growing. Spirulina was the first one, by the way. Spirulina is what's called a cyanobacteria. It's a bacteria, and this is very important later on when we talk about mitochondrial health. But then about 1 billion years after that, there was enough oxygen on Earth for larger life forms, and including chlorella, which is the next stage of algae to grow. But so microalgae is everywhere. It's in the lakes, the oceans, the streams, the soil, your swimming pool, your aquarium, tens of thousands of strains of microalgae. And there's also macroalgae, which we talked about a minute ago, which is the stringy stuff, but it's only in the sea. It's only in the ocean. It's also known as dulse and kelp. It's got lots of fiber. Microalgae has, spirulina has no fiber, and chlorella has a teeny bit, but they're not grown in the sea. They are harvested as food crops. I'm going to show you a picture of algae farms. So here's a spirulina farm. They grow in long, narrow farms, and chlorella is grown in round farms. But it's very important to know that it's a food crop, so it's not a supplement. And the reason why this is important is because your body will recognize and absorb food and the nutrients in food 99% better than supplements. Supplements are made from extracts in factories and with high heat, which kill a lot of the nutrients, and your body doesn't know what to do with them. Not algae, it is food. We call them bits. Our little tablets, we have them in little tiny tablets that you can swallow or chew. We call them bits because they're bits of food. So no heat, at least ours, everybody else does use high heat, but we don't use high heat. Ours are just grown in fresh water. So when we grow it, takes about a month or 6 weeks to grow. And then we air dry it into a powder. Again, this is very important when we talk about mitochondria, because we do not use high heat to dry it. Every other supplier of spirulina and chlorella does, but we don't. And we'll talk about why that's important later on. And then we press them into these little tablets that we call bits. Now, as I mentioned, algae, spirulina and chlorella algae is a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop in Asia. So it's grown in Taiwan, China, Japan, India, Korea. It's as big as the beef industry is here. And I got into this whole algae thing because my sister had breast cancer about 13 years ago. She's fine now, but her oncologist told her to change her diet to an alkaline diet. They didn't tell her what it was, so I helped her research it, and it was a plant-based diet because of the chlorophyll and the phytonutrients. And then I learned about plant-based nutrition. I gave up my corporate career of 25 years to help people get more healthy by eating more vegetables. And I found out it was too much work for people to eat vegetables because they are heavy to carry home from the grocery store. And now with all the, inflation, they're very expensive. They take a long time to clean, to cook, to eat. So I thought, I've got to get green nutrition into people. I got to find a fast, easy way to do it. And then I stumbled across algae, which was one of the things I'd found for my sister. And it turns out that, first of all, as I mentioned, algae is food, but it comes in these little tablets. Each one of these tablets has the same nutrition. This is spirulina, this is chlorella, although I got a couple tablets in there. Each one of these tablets, which are the size of a baby aspirin, has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables, except you didn't have to clean it, cook it, eat it, grocery shop for it, nothing. Yeah. So if you swallow 2, 5, 10, or 100, take as many as you want. We have NHL players that put 75 spirulina in their smoothie before a game and 75 chlorella in their smoothie after a game. But it's the answer. It's fast food because you get all the nutrients you need in seconds. If you can swallow water, you can get all the green nutrition that your body is craving. By the way, there's only 1 calorie per tablet. There's 0 carbs, 60% protein. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The highest concentration of protein in the world, highest concentration of nutrition in the world, 40 vitamins and minerals. Spirulina algae is endorsed by the United Nations as the answer to world hunger because it has 3 times the amount of protein as steak. Both algae are endorsed by the by NASA because they are the most nutrient-dense food in the world. And they say 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables. So that's why if you don't like vegetables, you don't have time for vegetables, your kids won't eat them, your husbands won't eat them, or they're too expensive, that they just too much work, or they go bad too quickly. This is your answer. 1 single tablet has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. It's effortless nutrition, absolutely effortless.
It's healthy fast food, right? It's healthy fast food.
It's the ultimate fast food. I also call it intelligent food because you have to be intelligent to take it, and it knows what to do in your body. So let's go through the 2 different algae because they are quite different, and they do completely different things in your body. So the first one I want to talk about is spirulina, which is known as a blue-green algae. See how it's a much darker color than the chlorella, which is just a green algae. So the 2 pigments in spirulina are a blue one called phycocyanin, which has lots of healing properties, and the second pigment is chlorella, or it's chlorophyll, which makes plants green. The big thing about spirulina is that it gives you energy, physical energy, mental energy, and cellular energy. And it does that with having the highest protein in the world. Here's a chart to show you. When you eat animal protein, first of all, your body has to break down protein into amino acids in order for it to be absorbed. And when you have animal protein, because they're all bound up, it can take up to 3 days for you to get access to those aminos. Then you have collagen powder, which are broken down into smaller clusters of aminos called peptides, but that still takes some time. But algae, the aminos are individual. It has 18 of the 20 amino acids, including all 9 that your body can't make. So it is what's called a complete protein. So algae is vegan. There's nothing else in it except green stuff. It's ketogenic because there's 0 carbs. It's low fiber. In fact, spirulina is a bacteria. It's called a cyanobacteria. So if you have some digestive issues because you can't eat fiber, spirulina is your answer. So the reason it gives you energy is a high concentration of protein, and then very high amount of B vitamins, which convert the protein into glucose and energy for your body. And because spirulina is a bacteria, it has no cellulose wall for your body to have to break down to get access to all the nutrition and the protein. So it's 99% bioavailable. So again, very efficient nutrition. And it also is a vasodilator, so it opens up your blood vessels, and it has essential fatty acids, including omega-3, so it helps your brain. Spirulina has always been known as an energizing algae. So we call ours energy bits because it made it clear what this stuff does. And when we get to later in the conversation, when I'm talking about mitochondria health, you'll find out that spirulina has a couple of nutrients in it that are critical for energizing your mitochondria and protecting your mitochondria. And all science, all research, everything is all researchers and scientists, and eventually even all the doctors, are starting to realize that every disease, every single one, it doesn't matter whether it's Alzheimer's, heart disease, stomach distress, are all a mitochondrial disease. So the key to health and living well is to protect your mitochondria. And as you're going to find out, spirulina is one of the most important, has nutrients that are almost impossible to find anywhere else. I'm not going to spoil by telling you what they are yet, but it's very energizing at the cellular level. So it's, so go ahead.
By the way, Catherine, we forgot, we're going to let people know that be sure and stick with it to the end. And we're going to tell you how you can try out all your great products at a really great discount.
Yes, we have a discount code.
Right. So stay tuned to the end and we'll give you that discount code.
Yeah, you don't want to miss the discount code. And trust me, this will change your life in an amazing way. So that's spirulina, energizing. People use it for intermittent fasting. Take 5 or 10 in the morning and with a sip of water, and you're out the door in seconds. Does not interfere with your ketones or glucose. No decrease in ketones, no increase in glucose. You can use it as a meal replacement. You can use it as a for weight loss because there's 1 calorie. You can have 20 spirulina tablets and you won't be hungry for hours for 20 calories. I mean, really, And you won't have any cravings because it has all 40 vitamins and minerals that your body needs and all that rich protein. So it's an amazing food. Remember, it is food, and it's safe for newborns, teenagers, grandparents, pets. It's the safest, at least ours is the safest food in the world. We only sell it on our website and also through doctors and functional medicine practices or biohackers. We don't sell it through, GNCs or because it's too high quality and we do third-party lab tests. So anyways, that's spirulina, energizing blue-green algae. That's why it's in a blue package, because it's a blue-green algae. The other algae we're going to talk about is chlorella. Now that's a tough thing to say, but chlorella is claimed to fame is it has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Remember, spirulina has the highest protein in the world. Chlorella has the highest chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what makes plants green. And it has 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula, 25 times even more chlorophyll than liquid chlorophyll. So you say to yourself, what's so important about chlorophyll? I'm going to show you a chart. This is the chemical composition of your hemoglobin, and this is the chemical composition of chlorophyll. Notice that they're virtually identical. That's because they are. The only difference is in your blood, you have iron in the middle of the cell, and in chlorophyll, you have magnesium. When you have chlorophyll, you're building your blood. And when you have healthy blood, you're going to have a healthy brain. You're going to have healthy organs. You're going to have a healthier body. Everything works better when you have healthy blood. But it's almost impossible to get chlorophyll from any vegetable source these days. If you notice that when you buy arugula, it goes yellow after about day 3. That's because it didn't start with much chlorophyll. You could eat this in a little container with about 75 tablets in it, has more chlorophyll than probably if you filled your entire house with arugula. It's crazy how concentrated this stuff is, because remember, it's a microalgae, and you can get about 1 million algae cells on the head of a pin. So when you consolidate it again into these little tablets, you can start to see how concentrated it is. Now, if you don't like vegetables, or you have digestive distress when you eat vegetables, or you don't have time, chlorella is your answer, because it has the highest chlorophyll in the world, and it does have some fiber. So anyways, chlorophyll builds your blood. Chlorophyll is also what's known as a fat-based pigment. And that's important because your cell walls need to be healthy. And the way to get nutrients in and toxins out, and the way you do that is with healthy fats like omega-3 or vitamin E. Well, because chlorophyll is also a fat, it heals your cell walls. And I tell people, when your windows are dirty, you can't see out and sunlight can't get in. So think of chlorophyll as window washers for your cell walls. That way nutrients can get in and toxins can get out, and that keeps everybody happy, including the mitochondria that are inside. So that's number 2, why chlorophyll is so important. It builds your blood and it heals your cell walls. It also heals, they use it also for IBS and Crohn's disease, any kind of gut issue, because of the high concentration of chlorophyll, and also because chlorella has a hard cell wall. Remember I said spirulina has none because it's a bacteria. Chlorella has the hardest cell wall in the plant kingdom, and that hard cell wall attaches to toxins. All the heavy metals, lead, mercury, radiation, aluminum. It also attaches to alcohol. It attaches to lactic acid, and it pulls them out of your body. So now chlorella, because of the high chlorophyll and pulling out the toxins, it also has the highest RNA and DNA in the world. It has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is the precursor to melatonin. It helps with bowel movements. It's a wellness algae. Spirulina is an energizing algae. Chlorella is a wellness algae. It helps you recover your health, or recover from sports, or recover from drinking. It does, and we have so many toxins in our world. Apparently, I read a statistic recently that the average adult has 800 toxins in their body, and you've got to get rid of those toxins, or they damage your cells. They damage your mitochondria, they damage your skin, they damage everything. So when you take chlorella, we generally recommend spirulina in the morning, because that's when you're tired and hungry and you want to get some energy, or before a workout, or at lunchtime, anyways, all throughout the day. And we generally recommend you take the chlorella before you go to bed, because I mean, by the time you've gone to bed, you've been exposed to toxins, you've maybe had a few cocktails, maybe you did a workout. And so, and also when you sleep, I'm not sure if you know this, but when you sleep, your body goes through a detox repair cycle. So if you have chlorella in your body while you're sleeping, it's like having the cleanup crew in there, right? It's getting rid of all the toxins. It's healing the RNA and DNA are healing the cells. They're cleansing the mitochondria. So this is the perfect thing to take as a snack before bed. Now, the good thing is chlorella actually tastes pretty good when you eat it with either pistachio nuts or macadamia nuts. So now you have a bedtime snack that is really, really healing. Spirulina, definitely recommend you swallow that one. And you might even just want to swallow this chlorella as well.
Yeah, I have to say, I've been eating a chlorella on and off. I'm going to do it more now. You got me more motivated for many, many years. And I think it's the one food that I've taken that first of all, when I just eat it, it feels good in your body. It's one thing. I mean, it's the only thing, including supplements, that I've taken that I really could notice a difference, and I actually felt good. I really liked it. Everything else I've taken, well, I don't know if it did anything or not, but I like the way the chlorella tastes, and it just feels good in your body when you put it in there.
Well, and by the way, if you have any cats or dogs, they love both of them, and animals are so smart. You can't fool the animals. They know what's good for them. You will, and if you're gonna, you just know when you have this stuff, especially ours, because it's so pure and, as I said, third-party lab tested, and we sell through doctors' offices nationwide. You know that you're giving your body something good. And so, even if you were living in a bubble and weren't exposed to toxins, you may not know this, but we have over 30 trillion cells in our bodies, and every day our bodies are constantly regenerating. Your skin, your organs, your plasma, your stomach lining, all on different cycles, of course. But when you build new bones and skin and cells, where do you think the old stuff goes? So you have 30 trillion cells that die every day in your body, and if you don't clear out the old dead cells, they become toxic too. So they clog up your lymphatic system, gather bacteria, change the pH to acidic. So chlorella will pull all that out. So I tell people, you take a shower on the outside of your body every day. So when you take chlorella every day, because this is something you need to be doing every day, it's like giving your body a shower from the inside. So now you're getting rid of all the garbage. If you don't take your own garbage out from your home after a couple of days, things get a little smelly, right?
Yeah.
So think of what's going on in your body if you don't clear out that garbage. It just starts to become an acidic cell, which attracts cancer, which damages your mitochondria, and on it goes. So the two of them are quite different. Spirulina is very energizing, satisfies your hunger, can replace multivitamin, fish oil, CoQ10, magnesium, potassium, and chlorella replaces your need for vegetables, any kind of recovery fuel if you're an athlete, any kind of alcohol removal. This builds your immune system. This gives your immune system everything it needs. And we still need to support our immune system with COVID still lingering and showing up all over the place. So the two of them are I call this your nutrition insurance, because it gives your body everything that it needs. You could live on these forever and not need any other food. In fact, I'm the one that found out that the amino acid profile of spirulina is virtually identical to mother's breast milk. And we all know that it's the perfect food. So this is like number 2, and so is chlorella. But if you take these every day, your skin will get better, your digestion will get better, you'll improve your mitochondria, which will improve your longevity, your energy. It's truly amazing. And it is food. Now we're going to talk about, the discount code later on, but I did use the calculation from NASA that said 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables. And there's 1,000 tablets in our bags. So each bag, using that calculation, has the equivalent nutrition of 551 pounds of vegetables. Wow. Right here. 551 pounds of vegetables, not the fiber, but also not the work, not the trips to the grocery store, not the trips to shoving it into your fridge or into your kid's mouth, not the effort to clean it, cook it, eat it, and vegetables, let's face it, they go bad after about 3 days, right? This never goes bad. We have to put an expiry date on it, usually 2 or 3 years, but algae is a very unusual crop. It never dies and it never goes bad. And with inflation coming up, this is your answer. This will save you time and save you money because you're getting the nutrition that you need. And if you take this in the morning and this at night, even if you took 5 or 10 of these, 5 or 10 of 10 a day is better. And a bag, if you took 10 a day, a bag would last you 3 months. That's 3 months of nutrition, right? Effortless nutrition. They come in canisters too that you can shake out the tablets so you don't have to put your hand in the bag. But it is truly amazing. And as I said, it's been used in Asia for 75 years. It's a crop that's as big as the beef industry is. And I tell people, algae isn't new, it's just new to you. And think about it, years ago, or even 5 years ago, you probably didn't know about matcha or kiwa or CBD or maybe mushrooms and these are things that have been used in other countries for centuries. And so is algae. It's been used for centuries in Mexico and in Africa. But in fact, the Egyptians used to wrap themselves in it because it was so good for their skin and pulled out toxins. So we're really the first company, and I'm the first person to educate people about in America or outside of Asia anyways, what algae is and why it's so good for you. So
yeah, Catherine, that's so good. Well, we only have about 9 minutes left here. So let's talk a little bit about what mitochondria are and why they're so important for our health.
Yeah. Excellent. So mitochondria they're referred to as little organelles. They're inside your cells. What they do, everybody knows them as something that generates energy. But what they also do, they've realized, is that they are key to preventing disease. This is what they're little sort of like a peanut shape. So they generate all the energy for your cellular energy, which is for everything, breathing, sleeping, walking, talking, whatever. But the problem is the mitochondria have 2 membranes. And so, your DNA, well, first of all, let me just tell you how important mitochondria are and how many there are. The higher amount of mitochondria are where your greatest energy needs are. So in your brain, they have realized there are 2 million mitochondria per cell.
God, that's crazy.
That's a packed room. 2 million mitochondria per cell in your brain. There's 5,000 mitochondria per cell in your heart and in your muscles. So wherever there's high energy needs in your brain, your brain is the biggest user of energy, and then your heart and your other organs. So that's why they're realizing Alzheimer's is really a mitochondria disease. So it's really, really, these mitochondria, they are everything for you and your life. So here's the issue. Here's a cell, okay? Inside your cell, you have your regular little DNA over here, and then you have all these little, peanut shapes are the mitochondria. And if you go inside the mitochondria, this is where that energy called ATP is produced. But unfortunately, in the process of making ATP, there's something called free radicals that are thrown off. Free radicals are like sparks from a fire. And I didn't mention this, but your mitochondria have your own DNA. You have your regular DNA in each cell, and there's 25,000 of those. And your mitochondria also have their own DNA, and there's only, I think, 37. You think 37, how important can that be? Well, it turns out those 37 control the other 25,000, and those 37 control everything that happens in your body. So the DNA of your mitochondria rule your body, rule everything, but they're getting fried every nanosecond by free radicals that are thrown off during the production of ATP. So you think to yourself, well, we got to save those guys. Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is free radicals damage, as I mentioned, your mitochondria. They're like exhaust. And the worst offender are carbs and sugar. And what does everybody in America eat? carbs and sugar. So those carbs and sugar are throwing off more and more free radicals and are damaging your mitochondria. So you got to protect your mitochondria. There's two ways to do that. One is to adopt either a ketogenic diet, because that's when you use fat as your fuel. And what they found out is that there's fewer free radicals when you have a keto diet. And the next option, better option, is to use algae or fasting. And there's virtually just a little puff of smoke, no free radicals generated. Keto diets and fasting are hard to maintain. So algae is your best next shot, right? Virtually zero carbs. So that's one way to protect your mitochondria, is to have fewer free radicals. And you get that from either fasting or keto diets, or the best choice is algae. The other option is to protect and reduce the free radicals. So you think, oh, well, that's what antioxidants are for. But here's the problem. Your mitochondria are the only cells in your body with two membranes. Everybody else has one. And I'll tell you why in a minute why there's two. So that second membrane stops virtually all free antioxidants from getting in there. So it doesn't matter if you eat a room full of vitamin E or vitamin C, none of it gets into your mitochondria. The only things that can get into that inner membrane are a couple of nutrients that are found in spirulina algae and chlorella algae. One is called superoxide dismutase. I know it's a mouthful, also known as SOD. The other one is melatonin. By the way, spirulina has the highest amount of superoxide dismutase in the world, and I've had lab tests to prove it. The other nutrient that gets into the mitochondria is stunning, but it's melatonin. And guess what? I did lab tests for our spirulina, and we have the highest concentration of melatonin in the world, 28,000 times more than tart cherry juice. And the other nutrient that gets in there is chlorophyll. Surprise, surprise, algae has the highest concentration of chlorophyll in the world. But the key nutrient is superoxide dismutase, but you can't find it in any other food. Now your body makes its own superoxide dismutase, but as you age, you have a lot more when you're younger, and it's even in mother's breast milk. As you age, it's making less and less of it. So it's almost impossible, to find in food. And they also have realized even superoxide dismutase supplements get damaged during digestion, so they don't make their way to mitochondria. Now remember, spirulina is a bacteria, and so it gets absorbed instantly into your bloodstream. So all the nutrients, including the superoxide dismutase, get into your mitochondria. But here's the trick. It has to be raw spirulina, because superoxide dismutase is an enzyme. And anybody who knows anything about nutrition knows that high heat kills enzymes if it's over, I think, 117 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, virtually all the other spirulina companies out there use high heat to dry their algae, because they are low priced, lower quality algae. So they need to sell a lot to stay alive. So they dry it quickly with high heat to get to market. I started the company because of my younger sister having breast cancer. And so everything I ever did as I formed the company was to make sure people were healthy. So 12 years ago, when I knew that other companies were using high heat, I said, well, we can't use high heat. That'll kill enzymes. I didn't even know about superoxide dismutase at the time, but I'm sure glad I did, because our superoxide dismutase is alive and well. That's why people tell us when they take our spirulina and they go, oh, well, I think I'll go try a cheaper version. They always come back because they notice that there isn't as much energy. And it's because the superoxide dismutase and everybody else's algae has been killed.
Catherine, we're just about out of time. We only got like 2 minutes left. First of all, I just want to thank you so much. That was awesome. It's amazing information and amazing products. And you certainly convinced me. I've been kind of lagging on these products. So I got to start taking them, and I'm going to start taking some of your products. And so I want to let people know that. So I definitely recommend that you go to energybits.com.
Yes.
And you can use the discount code Ageless Living, right?
Yes, Ageless Living, all one word. It doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase.
Okay.
And you can buy bags or boxes or canisters. Works on everything all the time. We also have a sample pack. Now remember, that large bag I don't want you to have sticker shock. A large bag is $125. With the discount code, it brings it down to about 100. But remember, that's 551 pounds of vegetables in that bag. So that
Okay.
saves you time and money. And if you took 10 tablets a day, that would last you, that's 3 months of food.
3 months
You
of
can take
food.
as much as you want. Our NHL players put, as I said, 75 in their smoothie before a
Yeah.
game, and chlorella, you know.
That is so good. Catherine, thank
Well,
you
you-
so much. That was
You
awesome.
can't eat that. You just take one of those.
Just take one of those. That's it. So I always like to end all my podcasts by saying we always give you some great information, some great knowledge, but knowledge without action is useless, right? So you got to step up and take action. So definitely, I want you to go to energybits.com and give them a try and use our discount code, and we'll put this in the description. So thank you so much for
You're very
being here,
welcome.
Catherine. That was awesome. I
All
really
right.
appreciate
Well,
that.
and yeah, remember, algae isn't new. It's just new to you. And so, you know,
Yeah.
step up and start enjoying the benefits, because they are real and they're science-based. I forgot to mention that. 100,000 studies document all the benefits of algae.
Algae. That's all right. Thank you so much, and thank you all for being here. If you like today's episode, give us a good review and tell your friends about